Hello, Juwelaquarium here, and today's video I'm going to do a build. Yes, I've been excited to do a build, it's been a while. So what I'm going to do is a series of videos, and I'm going to show you the whole journey of the aquascape, from hardscaping to planting and further down the line. So any issues I come across I'll share with you guys when I add the fish, and yeah, just regular updates on this particular scape I'm going to be doing now. So this scape is going to be more of a low energy scape. It's still got decent lights on, good filtration, etc. But I'll not be injecting CO2, and I'll be using plants that are more of an easy category plant. So the scape I'm doing is inspired by this particular scape here. And it is just a coincidence I had this picture here. I was watching the video and I thought, I'm going to try that one. I did do something similar in the past, but it didn't turn out quite right, so I'm going to attempt this one again. So yeah, this is the inspiration, and this was done by ADA Aquascaper Iraqi. Yeah, we're good friends, me and him. No, we're not. I've met him once. I met him in Dallas. It was a little bit of a fanboy moment. So there is going to be a series of videos of this one covering everything, as I was saying earlier. So today's video is all about the hardscaping process. So yeah, if you enjoy this sort of content and you want to see the progress of this scape, how it's going to go, please subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Give this video a big thumbs up. Really does help. So thanks guys, and enjoy. See you in a bit. So the tank itself is a dual Rio 180, which is 101 centimeters long, 50 centimeters high, and front and back it is 41 centimeters, holds around about 180 liters. As you can see, I've already made a start, and yeah, that was my fault. I actually forgot to press record, so I had done this and thought, oh no. So yeah, so all this is a sand soil device. So we've got aquarium soil here, which is Aquavitro Aquasolum from Seachem. And the sand is Dua Tropical River Sand. So I've just added those. And what I've done, which I'll overlay footage of a previous scape I did, is I added the card to give it that divide. So I added the sand and gravel and then added the soil. After that, carefully remove the card, and this is what you're left with. So that's that done. We're ready to go with the hardscape. Okay, so here we'll have all the materials ready, which I'm going to be using. So I'm using dragonstone. I've got this gravel here, which I may add for some detailing because it's a really good match with the Dua Tropical Sand. And this is actually with a Plata Sand Big, which I don't think you can get anymore. I think this is discontinued. It's a lot larger grain size than the regular Plata Sand you see. So maybe detailing with that. The wood I'm using here in the UK, this is called Talawa wood, and I've used this many times in the past, and I find it really easy to work with. So I've got various pieces, various sizes, and we'll see what we can do with this. So that's the hardscape materials. Let's get going. Okay, what I would recommend doing is getting this light panel out of the way. As you can see, it is different lights to what you get with the Jewel. I upgraded these lights to the Twinstar G line, which are really good lights and pretty good when you're on a budget. So these will work fine for this low energy setup. So I'm just going to move this out the way. So we've still got a bit of light there, but we can get our hands in for the hardscaping. What I tend to do is use the largest piece first, get this in position, then take it from there. So we'll carefully place this in. It's kind of like trial and error. You put it where you think it's going to be and then see how that looks. So always have a check, step back from the actual aquarium, have a look, see what you think. You can always change position once you add your stones and stuff. The main thing I want to do is place it off center. You don't want to just get your first piece of wood and bang straight in the middle, because that's not too pleasing to the eye. It's more pleasing to the eye and more natural looking if it's just off center, following the rule of thirds. So you don't have to measure exactly. You take the middle of the tank, slightly left or slightly right. Just try and avoid placing it slap bang in the middle. It's kind of the same rules as what you do with photography, videography, the rule of thirds. Also, when you're placing your wood, you want to bear in mind the front of the glass. So you don't want any hardscape materials touching the front of the glass or being too close to the glass for maintenance. So when you do maintenance, you want to keep it nice and clear to make life easier for you. So just a little tip there for you. So place the second piece. It's best to take a step back and keep checking your work. Make sure you're happy with it as you go. So I've kind of pushed this piece down, and that will act as a barrier between the sand and the soil. That's good for later down the line. Yeah, a mono shrimp, they usually spill a bit of soil onto the sand, so the more you can keep that back, creating that barrier, the better it is in the future. So what we've got here is the thicker pieces of the wood are at the front, and that'll draw your eye in, giving it a better sense of depth, and the soil slope as well, which again, that gives a better sense of depth. So I think I've got roughly about 12 centimeters deep with the soil, which is going to be important for the plants we're going to use. I'm going to use Amazon swords, Enchinodora species, and those are heavy root feeders. So we want a nice deep substrate for good root development. So that's the slope, and yeah, we'll just keep on going, trying to build it so it looks nice, looks natural, and also keep the barrier between the sand and the soil. So this side, I've focused more on this lower part, creating that barrier. Now I'm going to try and get some height. So looking at the angles, we'll try this piece. But I've got to bear in mind as well, we have got a lid on this tank obviously, so we want to keep things under the water surface, unlike open top tanks, so we don't have to worry about the wood protruding the surface. See, I think that looks good, but we've got the wood sticking out the top. I could cut that off, but what I'm going to do is have a little bit of play and get it so it's right. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that. I think it looks pretty cool. Because the thickest piece is at the front, you've got that sense of depth again, so the thick pieces, and then as you go further back, you've got the thinner pieces of wood. And it looks quite good. I know this one's a bit different because that's thick, but still, we're getting there. So this is in pretty much the same position, but what I've done is just move it a little further back, so I've got that nice bit space for more plants. The more soil, the more plants we can actually plant, or vice versa. If you don't want to plant as many plants, you can try and cover the soil areas more with gravel, sand, stones, etc. But I want to try and create more planting space. It's slowly coming together. It's worth just taking your time. There's no rush. Enjoy the process, creating a nice looking hardscape. And that's what I'm doing here. I'm enjoying this, putting this together, and this is the fun part for me. Love doing the hardscaping. So got another piece here to try and get a bit more height again. Whoops. Take a step back, see how that looks. Yeah, I like that. Give you guys a look. So this is it so far as we've been working along. Keeping that divide, we've got this large piece of wood, well, the thicker piece of wood on the bottom, creating a barrier as well. We've created some height with this piece of wood and one piece of wood on the bottom again, and we've just added this to create some height on the right hand side. So 4 pieces of wood so far. I don't want to go overboard with the wood, make it too branchy, because we want the plants to be the highlight really. It's coming along and I'm quite happy so far. we've got, so if you look at the center of the tank here where the jewel is, so this focal point here, it's just off center, so that's good. We're not bang in the middle. We'll keep on plodding on, a few little tweaks here and there. So after checking and looking at it from front, I've decided this looks a bit barren, this thick piece. I keep looking and thinking there needs to be something to quite balance it out on the other side. So I've picked a piece of wood and we'll see what we can do. So I'm thinking just in there. I think I'll bring that piece. Oh. It's tricky. So I'll bring that piece under there, like so. That's it. And you see that it's like it's wanting to sit there, so I'm not going to fight it. I'll push that there, wedge that there, and hopefully that looks a bit better. Yep, it's kind of there, I think. It's getting there. This is where it gets tricky because the slightest little movements can make all the difference. But we'll keep going. I might try another piece of wood. This is why it's good to have a good selection of wood. The good thing with this wood, if you can get hold of it, well, I know here in the UK, it's one of the cheaper woods, and that's why I've got so much. No, this is what I've collected over time. It's been in a few different scapes, some of it. So what does that look like? Oh, I think that could be it. Yes, I like that. I have changed things slightly off camera because I did have this piece up here initially, but what I thought about was I couldn't get into plant. There was too many branches around, so how would I get the plants in? So now what I've done is place this piece of wood here. So this, the base of it is acting like a barrier, so it'll come down. So we've got more of a barrier, we've got more of a barrier again. And it's created a bit more detail that coming up and gives some contrast to that rear one coming across. So that's what I went for there. And now at least I can still get into plant. A little bit less space there, but I can get in there. And of course you can plant there and the roots are still going to get underneath the actual wood. So that's not going to cause any issues for the rooting of the Echinodorus. So I think that's it for that side. I've picked out a few bits of the dragonstone I think I want to use and give them a good rinse, because dragonstone is a clay based stone and it's quite dirty. So I give it a good rinse, and that'll stop the water being as murky once you fill. So yeah, I picked out a few pieces. I may have to add more or take some away, we'll see. So let's get going with adding some stone. So I'll see if I can get this big piece in here without disturbing everything, which is tricky. Let's see, there you go. There. So that's the first piece in. This is the second piece. What I'm trying to do is place them so they obviously look nice, but there'll be good securing points as well, so it can secure the wood to the stone and stop it from floating and moving during maintenance. So that's what I'm trying to do, as well as placing it so it looks good and natural and not too close to the glass. Stone number 3. So again, we want this to look good but also provide a securing point and also block this little piece here. I don't know if you can see on camera, but the soil could spill through there, so we just want to block that with the stone. And we've got a decent securing point there as well. So hopefully that looks okay. I've actually placed this stone flat now. I thought it didn't look too good when it was up on an angle, so I might have to just fill this with more sand and maybe the larger gravel we talked about earlier. But I think it looks a bit better flat. How about this stone here? Yeah, I like that. Hello. It's nice to see the water, isn't it? Yup. Yeah, no, I like seeing that piece of wood there. So we'll leave the stone. So I've placed a light in the middle to see how it looks, where the shadows are, see what it's looking like so far. And I think I might just stick to 3 stones. I just would like a nice beachfront, but I will add some further details with the larger gravel if it looks okay. But I don't want to hide too much of this wood. I think the base of the wood looks nice. The tricky part is securing points. That's going to be a bit trickier. So what I am considering is maybe gluing to the side of the glass. I'm not too worried about that because I think it'll easily just scrape off when it comes to it using a razor. So I'm not too worried about that. I think just using a razor blade, it'll cut that away when it comes to rescaping. So I think that might be the way forward. And then we can just secure the other pieces of wood to the main base wood, which is on the stone and the glass, and that might do the trick of keeping everything secure. But we'll see. So I've actually made the decision to glue to the glass. So what I do, I use tissue paper and liquid glue, and that'll attach this piece of wood to the glass here. And as I was saying earlier, I'm not worried because I'll just be able to scrape the tissue paper glue off when it comes to it. Just being careful, obviously. But that's what I'm going to do there, and that'll secure there. And I've also got some secure points to the stone. I'll also be joining the wood together with the tissue paper and liquid glue. Get as many secure points as I can. I'll show you the first couple to show you how I do it, particularly with the glass. We'll see how that goes. I've never done that before, but like I say, I'm confident it'll be fine. Let's get this done. So tissue paper, push that down. So what I'm going to try and do here is secure this wood to this wood. So if that's connected there and that's to the glass, hopefully it all works out and secures that. And I'll also try and find another point. So what I'm going to do here, look where the wood meets, try and push this in, bit fiddly. Don't know if you can see, my hand's in the way. But yeah, what I'm going to do is push this in. You'll not be able to see when I'm doing this. So we'll add the glue. I've attached a little pipet thing, pipet, I think that's what it's called. And I'll not use as much glue, and obviously I can get in tight areas. So I'm just going to press that on a little. It doesn't take long to cure, it's literally seconds. So I've secured all the wood in place as best I can. I have added a couple more stones, again, just to have some securing points for the wood. And I think it does seem pretty sturdy. So hopefully that all holds well. That's the only bit that's wobbly, but it's not going to go anywhere because I've actually attached it to that stone there. So And bear in mind, once it's soaked, it's going to be heavier. So yeah, I think it should be okay. So what I'm going to do now is add this gravel. So this is the ADL Platter Large. So it's a nice gravel which will go perfect with the Dewar sand and hopefully have a good contrast with the Dragonstone as well. So I'll add this now, see how it looks. So this isn't just for decorative purposes, it's actually going to act as a barrier as well to stop the soil spilling through. If I've missed any spaces, I can see a bit there, I'm going to have to add this. So let's do that now. I forgot to mention, I have rinsed it as well because it was quite dusty, so I've rinsed it just so it doesn't cloud all the water when we fill, even though that's easily taken care of with water changes. One last job, and that is just add a little bit more soil, because I was saying using Echidora species heavy root feeders, we do want to give them a nice deep soil that's nutrient rich, and this is Aqua Vitro Aqua Solum, which is a quality soil from Seachem. So I'm just going to use my trusty old paintbrush to spread this soil around. I just want it nice and level at the back. So that's it all complete. I'm sweating. It's red hot here in the UK and I've had to keep the window shut for the noise, and oh yeah, I'm sweating. But anyways, that's the hardscape complete. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, watching the full process of the hardscaping, and hopefully you've gotten some hints and tips on the way about creating your actual composition. So as soon as the plants arrive, I'll get that planted, get it filmed and upload it as quick as possible so you're not waiting, and we'll follow the full process as I was saying earlier in the video. So that's it for this video, but I will leave some footage at the end, some close-up shots of the actual hardscape so you can see what it's like, and enjoy. Till next video, part 2, see you soon.